would say the top 5 things that come to mind as a pastor's wife is that this is teamwork. While Joe's called to be the pastor of a church, I am also called to that same church. Not in the position of a pastor, but we're in this together. And so I am to encourage him to be there for him, to be involved in the church. I mean, we carry each other's burdens. We talk things through, make decisions together. I mean, we're in this together as a team. And so it's important to realize that this is not just the pastor's calling, but this is the pastor and his wife being called to the church. But at the same time, the second thing that it made me think of is that I am not the pastor, and this is not a 2-for-1 deal. And so he is the one that holds the main responsibility of the church and carries the burdens there. And I am held to the same level of holiness and responsibility as everybody else in the congregation. My first ministry is to my family, and my second to the church. And so I think pastors' wives shouldn't feel like they have to be involved in every single ministry that's there. There are going to be some seasons of life where you can be involved more, and there are going to be other seasons in life where you just can't. And that's okay. And then the third thing that I thought of was that it can be very lonely, and that it's important to be involved, not to pull back and to try to hide, but to really be involved in your church and be a part of small group and women's ministries, and to reach out to people. And that's something that I have to work on because I'm an introvert. And so I would rather just be by myself. But loneliness is not good for anybody. So you have to make that effort to get to know people. And I think sometimes there might be people in the congregation who are afraid to approach the pastor's wife. And so you have to be willing to kind of step out and sometimes, put yourself out there, and maybe might be a little bit uncomfortable, but you never know what the end result might end up being. The fourth thing that I thought about was that the pastor's wife really needs to be the best theologian that she can possibly be. And it doesn't mean that she has to hold any kind of theological degrees, but she will be asked for advice, and she will be asked for counsel, and she needs to be able to answer those questions and give it solid advice that doesn't stem out of that isn't emotionally based, but that stems out of a solid knowledge of the Word of God. And so she needs to be able to handle herself well, handle the Word of God well. And that takes study and being invested in time, and being willing to dig through some of the more difficult passages and not shy away from them and wrestle through some stuff. I mean, I think everybody is called to be a good theologian, but I think in particular a pastor's wife needs to really step up her game and study hard. And lastly, I think it is very important that a pastor and his wife have a strong marriage. Because I know that most of the people that want to meet with Joe, they don't meet with him because they want to share about their wonderful day, and let me tell you about this awesome week that we've had. I mean, there are some that do that, but for the most part, it's heavy, hard things. People are hurting, and a lot of times pastor and his wife together are counseling, and there needs to be a really stable home life. And that takes a lot of work. You have to carve out time. You have to make sure that you go on dates, and that you have an evening together where you can just forget about all the other stuff that's going on, and to enjoy talking about nothing almost, and going out and seeing a movie or whatever. But developing that marriage relationship that will then help throughout the rest of the week and months and years. Some of them might be difficult and some of them won't. And a strong marriage will help in that.